Hi guys, Mayang Adlaw. Welcome to NatzMath TV. For today's video, my presentation is about illustrating propositions. This is the first topic of the third part in general mathematics subject, which is about logic. When we say logic, it is a proper or reasonable way of thinking about something. It is considered as an art of reasoning. In math, logic is very important in proving something. We cannot just do mathematics without proper and reasonable thinking to prove that something is true or false. Or even in any other fields, we also use logic like in science, in social sciences, in government, in agriculture, in technology, or more so in law. We use logic. It helps us discern and make sound judgment. So, to start, let us have our lesson objective first. At the end of this video, you should be able to illustrate propositions. And number two, you should be able to distinguish between simple propositions from compound propositions. So to start, let us have our review first. In English, we were taught of the different kinds of sentences. So let us review these kinds of sentences. Number one, we have this what we call a declarative sentence. A declarative sentence is used to make statements of facts, a wish, an intent, or a feeling. So example is, the number 9 is odd and greater than 1. So in mathematics, nobody can argue that number 9 is really an odd number, and of course it is greater than 1. So it is a fact. And number 2 is, Cebu City is known for its Sinulog Festival. No other cities in the Philippines that hold Sinulog Festival every January, only Cebu City. So this is a statement of facts. Another is about imperative sentence. An imperative sentence is used to state a command, a request, or a direction. Say, example, please do not forget to wear your face mask every time you go out. So this example is an example of a request. So this is more of a request because of the word please. So this is not a statement of command because this is a request. And And number two is always switch off the lights after using. So this example is more of a command than a request. So these two examples are examples of imperative sentence. And number three, the third one is about interrogative sentence. When we say interrogative sentence, it is used to ask questions. So when we ask questions, we usually have question mark at the end of the statement. So did you pass the exam? And number two, how did you feel about the COVID-19 pandemic? So these are examples of a question. And number four is about exclamatory sentence, which is used to express strong feelings. Example, the teacher shouted, keep quiet, and ouch, it hurts. This is a statement of strong feelings. Okay, so to proceed, let us have some exercises. Which sentence can be answered as true or false? So we have here 6 sentences. Numbers 1, 2, and 6 are examples of statements that can be answered by either true or false. Say number 1, Magellan's Cross is in Cebu City. Of course, this is answerable by true or false statement. In this case, this is a true statement because Magellan's Cross is really found in Cebu City or in Cebu. Then number 2, if x is equal to 2, then 5x is equal to 9. This is a false statement because if x is equal to, then 5x should be equal to 10, not 9. Because when we multiply, 5 times 2 is equal to 10. So this is a false statement. And number 6, right angles are angles that measure 90 degrees. So 1, 2, and 6 are examples of statements that are answerable by true or false. While number 3, no face mask, no entry is more of a command. And of course, number 4 is a question, which is interrogative sentence. And number 5 is, of course, a statement of command. Open your mouth. Okay, so to proceed, what is then a proposition? A proposition is a declarative statement that can be classified as true or false. So in my previous example, the statements 1, 2, and 6 are examples of a declarative statement or an example of a proposition. Why? Because these are answerable by true or false. So whether the statement is true or the statement is false, as long as it is a declarative sentence or a declarative statement, it is an example of a proposition. So other examples of a proposition or declarative statements are: the sky is dark. So this is answerable by true or false depending on the situation and depending on the situation of the speaker. Whether the statement does make sense or not, as long as it is answerable by true or false, and this is a proposition. Number 2, perpendicular lines are lines that intersect forming 90-degree angle. Of course, in mathematics, this is a true statement. Here we have roses are red and violets are blue. Then we have 2x plus 1 is equal to 7 if x is equal to 2. Another is Amanda is good at dancing and singing. So these statements can be answered by true or false. Now, what are the types of proposition? Number 1 is about simple proposition, a proposition that convey one thought or idea with no connecting words. Example is the first example that I presented previously about the sky is dark. Perpendicular lines are lines that intersect forming a 90-degree angle. And of course, the third example, which is 2x plus 1 equals 7 if x is equal to. These are an example of a simple proposition. The next type is about the compound proposition. Compound propositions are propositions that contains two or more simple propositions that are put together using connecting words. In my next video, I will be discussing what are these connecting words. But for now, we will just have these examples first. Roses are red and violets are blue is an example of a compound proposition because there are two statements here which are connected by the words and. So we have here the roses are red and violets are blue. Another is Amanda is good at dancing and singing. So there are two ideas here that is being connected by the word and, which is about Amanda who is good at singing and also about Amanda who is good at dancing, or Amanda who is good at dancing and Amanda who is good at singing, which is still connected by the word and. And the third one is, I can play basketball and tennis. So we have two ideas here. Number one is, I can play basketball and at the same time, I can play tennis. So a compound proposition is being connected by connecting words. In these examples, we have used the word and. In my next video, we will be discussing about these connecting words. There are different connecting words like and, or. We also have negation. We also have if-then statements and biconditional statements. So that would be our next topic. So that's it. I hope you have learned something. So to review, we have just three main ideas here, which is about the definition of a proposition, which is about a declarative statement that can be answered by true or false, and the different types of proposition, which is simple proposition and compound proposition. When I say simple proposition, these are proposition with which only convey one thought or idea, whereas compound proposition that contains two or more simple propositions that are put together using connecting words. So some examples of connecting words are or, and, we also have the negation, the not, we also have a if then, and a biconditional statements. So that's it. I hope you have learned something. For my references, Thank you and God bless.